Hello and welcome. We are starting a brand new project. After taking last week off, I'm ready to go. And we are going to be playing with our brand new um, yeah, I always forget because they're little dreamers. There's little dreamers and little celebrations. Because of the two, I always get them mixed up. Hi, Tanya. So as you're joining tonight, make sure you subscribe, like all those things that keep our videos showing up in the funny algorithms of life, right? So, but be sure you do like the video and give me a thumbs up because that helps. Oh, listen, you guys. Listen, you can hear Wilbur. Do you hear that? That was Wilbur snoring in the background. Okay. um, okay, he's actually asleep now and he's in his second realm of sleep. Hi, Linda. Hi, April. I'm excited too. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to prep because it just seems to make things go by faster. I want to just go over the contents of your kit, and we do have 5 more kits available. We also we're just gonna get everything ready, prepped. Our white mats. I did post the white mats on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations, but I am going to cut them here with you tonight. And this is such a sweet, adorable line. A couple of things. I didn't, you know, we won't even have to do the back. I do a little punch. So I'm going to use, so this will help you see. I'm going to use a couple of punches. And let me grab them just so that you can see. If you have a die, then I know you either have dies, punches, or a machine. You're going to want a 3-inch. This one is a scallop. No, is this a scallop? I grabbed the wrong one, but it's okay. I have another one that's scalloped just like this. And you'll see it in here. We're going to use it just for 2 photo mats. It's really cute. This is the background. And anyway, it's a 3-inch scallop and then a 2.5-inch. That's the white. That's going to be the photo mat. And like I said, if you have a die, a 3-inch die, and you 2.5-inch die, because you want one to fit in the white to fit on there and it'll nest really cute. Or you can cut them with your machines. Now you can also just do squares. Squares are just fine too. But the next couple of projects, I've just really been using a lot of my my punches. I'm going to use some of my little tiny floral punches. And not necessary, but if you do have them, they're Fiskars, and I know Joann's is gone. I don't know about you guys, but ours is gone. But you still can get some Fiskars online at Amazon. I don't usually do that, but if you want them, this is a teeny, teeny, tiny. And I also used the bigger one. But again, not necessary. I just thought it'd be fun. And I'm going to go through your and look what I did. I'll go through the kit contents, but I marked every single photo mat so I don't miss them this time. A couple of places I just want to show you where we use those extra dies. I know, isn't it cute? This is just so adorable. They did such a good job on this collection. So this is going to be one of the flaps we create. Let me bring it down this way. Hi, Tian. And so this was the scallop, my 3-inch scallop punch, excuse me, and my 2.5-inch white circle. And I love these cows when the cow jumps over the moon, you know. So a die, anything will work that you have. And I know if you're like me, you've got a ton of them and they've been sitting around, and I'm trying to start using them more in our projects. So this was one place I punched a flower. It does go flat, but that's okay. And then I added little teeny tiny that I punched on the inside there. This one does have some floral. It's actually with your celebrations, but I didn't use the floral. I will use it when I do the celebrations album. I know they're just more and more coming. So let's go over what you got in your kit. I'll leave that alone. Okay, first thing in your kits, you did get a zipper bag. And I'll tell you what, once we start cutting, let me get mine. Once we start cutting, let me just, it's mine's stuck. I should have had this one ready, but I didn't. To be honest with you, it's time for me to clean out kits that I've been using. See, I just reuse them now that I'm done with the cat and dog. You have one of these bags. It could be blue. This had my kitty and doggy in there, but now I can use it for this. Because it's really great when you're working to keep everything together. Love those. So we have our album, and we're going to set that up here in just a minute. Then you have your little dreamers and little celebrations. Now, they're very close. They're very close on some of them. It seemed to me that little celebrations had a few more just neutral backgrounds. But we end up using, we use almost all of it. And this was what was left. So we are going to have a few leftovers. Actually, there's quite a bit. So we're going to have a few leftovers. And my goal is to get some cards made. So we want to have some baby cards to go with this beautiful album when we give it as a gift, right? Or keep for ourselves. Well, hi, Christine. Oh, let me show you. I am going to use this border punch. I use it on the cover. And I felt that on our cover, it just needed more. It just needed more of the basic color from our. So any punch, it is a smaller one, and I'm not sure if we have any more, but we did have one very similar in the store. But I will use it here and on the waterfall on the inside. Okay, let's get all these goodies over here. Such fun stuff. 49 and Market has a pre-made waterfall, which was really fun to use. I did like it. We're going to go ahead and change out our little round circle tabs here, something a little more prettier. And you'll have your pack of die cut elements. So we are going to sort these tonight. It just makes the process go by so much faster. And these are adorable. We're going to use an awful lot of these. And they are your epoxy coated stickers. They're kind of flexible, so they're really neat if you've never worked with them. Chipboard words. We have the cursive. We have what I call the block, and then kind of like your strip boards. Your Insta. Yes, it is Address My Craft. You're right, Tanya. You've got the 4x6 sleeves. Now, we don't use all these. I may put a couple more in this album because I'm also going to pare down. I'm not going to use the great big. I'm going to make my foam. I'm going to use the smaller on some things so that I can get some more room in there. So that's going to be the important thing. We're going to use the big ones on the outside. I'm learning as I'm making these, so you guys get to learn with me. But you'll have some of these left over, and they're actually pretty nice because of that sticky side on there. They're great for other projects, but you're going to have, because there's 12 in here, so you get some left over. We have our little Dreamers laser cut elements. Such cute. It has a little bit of a boho theme to it. Super cute. I just love it. It's got that rustic and the cow. Oh, just love it. Then we have our solids collection kit. And we do use, as I recall, almost all of this. We're going to use all of it. So when it comes to all of this fun stuff, right now, before we get to our solid cardstock, I want to go ahead and put these back into a bag. And everything is safe that way. And that's why I include these with your kits, because I know that sometimes it's hard to keep kits together. And then you are looking for the parts and pieces, and it's frustrating. So I'm getting really good at putting everything just back as I'm working. And then at the very end, however you want to store your leftovers or use them up. Okay, then you have, oh, this is just gorgeous with the collection. Would you look at that color? It is just absolutely gorgeous. So to give you an idea, this is what I ended up having left over after we created our album. So it's not a whole bunch. These were just like, some of it, well, I didn't use because it was kind of, well, it was also baby theme, boy and girl. It was boy and girl, and I didn't want to put a boy or girl on the album, not knowing, you know, what I'm like, welcome baby boy. So all my boys and girls were left over. So you could make boy and girl cards, which we'll do. And then the trains, I went ahead and stuck some of those trains in there in a car because my daughter played with cars. And I don't care if you're a boy or girl. Little girls love trucks and little boys love dolls. That's all there is to it when they're little. Okay, and then you're going to have your champagne 1/8 of an inch satin. We use that throughout. So pretty. And that gorgeous ribbon. Oh, just love it. Oh, good. I got it. So if you haven't, I use the Hefty, and I use my puzzle sorter. And I love the Hefties. You just buy them in huge bags when you're in Sam's Club. Dollar Tree. Okay, Dollar Tree. I was in there. They have some. They're a smaller, just a little bag, but they have these for $1.25 in a bag. And then they're great for sorting. Put the lid on, stack them on your shelf, put a label. Cheap. And we want cheap supplies so we can buy more kits. Who agrees? I agree. All right, so I'm going to put that away. We don't need this for a bit, but now everything is nice. And oh yeah, you could take this off to your crop. We started using these in our Seasons of Creativity. Different, you know, they're a little different, but the Seasons of Creativity boxes, because our grab and go, we like to grab it and go, and that means everything is confined in here. Pop your glue, tape in there. You still have lots of room. And then you're going to go to a crop or somewhere, and everybody's going to be like, oh, what are you putting together? Because they're going to want to see your beautiful work. Okay, one thing that was extra that was not in the kit because I hadn't gotten them in yet. So if you are putting in an order, you might want to pop in these. And I would have put them in the kit. And I'm so sorry. I didn't see them. When we ordered, they came in a little bit later. And the kit was already made, but I did sneak them in my album in a pocket in the back. So it's just the 1 through 12. Cute to put photos on the back. Okay. So we really love this, and I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting on more cardstock, guys. Hopefully I'll hear any day it's coming. But this is the white artisan felt. It's like the brown. So I put it in this kit. You should have 4 sheets. Then you have 10 of your, well, Mr. Camera, I'll just keep talking. It'll straighten out. You have 10 of your 12 by 12, 65-pound cardstock. Sorry, the camera will come to life here in a minute. We're going to actually cut this together tonight. But let's go ahead and grab the album. So I want you to get your album out. I like to set it up before we start creating it. And then it just makes it easier to stay in focus. So we're just going to open our album, kind of gently flatten that out there. I don't know why I have a tab on that one. Well, I must have done it in my sleep. So I want to show you something. If this is your first time working with 49 and Market albums, they have only 4 of the sleeves, which I'm okay with. I like building on the chipboard and the other things, but they do have these, so you can add more. Now you do get 2 sheets of your tabs or tabs, the ring hole protectors, and then journaling spots. So let's go to that for just a minute. For some of you who have never worked with these albums, now you can see how fat mine got. So I'm going to tone down my big foam dots. These we'll put the tabs on tonight. We'll put the tabs on these things tonight, but do you see these? And I talked about them when we did Rust and Revs. You have to glue them down, and it is something that you can do after the show tonight. And I will have the schedule in Scrapbookers. We're live tonight. I will be live tomorrow morning. And then Thursday and Thursday morning, Friday evening. And then this one we probably won't get done as fast as we did before. It has a little bit more to it. So we will go into next week. And then, so you put them on the back, and then you can put the little journaling spots here. Okay. Let me put this, and then you can see how fat our book will start becoming. So that you're going to work on between now or whenever you want. You can even finish your album, and I will get them on tonight. Okay, so let's get our album. These I can just set aside for right now. No, I don't know what I did here, but it's one that needed to have a tab, and I must have just been trying to figure something out. Okay, when we do the tabs and things, you do want to glue them down. And I'll tell you what, once you glue it down, it ain't coming off. There we go. But I don't want it on there. I must have messed up on the other one or something and then took one out and forgot to take it off. There we go. Almost good as new. Okay, so this one is actually going to be our first one. And this is where I want to go ahead and put down my tabs that we're going to use. My darn camera. You know, I took last week off, but we needed to, what is it called? Pack our cruise boxes. 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, we go to our Alaskan cruise. And so that's why I wasn't live last week. Now I'm going to have to turn off this camera for just a minute. And I needed to make sure my autofocus was off. Okay. So our first, these tabs we're going to have 4 of these on here. And then I did use some tabs, which we won't put on tonight because they went on the back here. I used them on our flip ups. Now I did use a magnet on each one. If you want to use a magnet, it definitely will hold that top one. So I am going to go ahead with my first divider, and we're going to take one of our tabs, and it's going to sit right at the top. Oh my word. All right, let's try that. I'm sorry about the camera. And we got to use glue. That's too much glue. And then you just want to set it up here at the top. Kind of flush here with the edges. Well, I don't know if my supplies are getting older and used a lot, and they just want to be ornery during our lives. Hopefully that's not going to ooze out, but I did put glue on the whole thing. Boy, this one's giving me trouble. Sometimes I don't think they're scored in the right place. There we go. Because we want it to be even. Oh, it's not going to go even. Okay. You do have extras in here. That's what's nice. All right, let's try this one more time. Wow. And you know, this is a baby album, so I'm trying to be very particular. Hello. Wow. You know, I think there's a problem with these. There sure is. So you just have to check yours to make sure it's been scored correctly. We want it to be even. Okay. I think that did the trick. I mean, you know, baby and wedding, they have to be perfect. Okay. One of our journal spots. And I like to put the tabs down first. Otherwise, if you put your cardstock down, it won't be under the paper. It's going to sit on top. And I didn't want it to sit on top of the paper. But I really appreciate that they do put the ring protectors in there, the hole protectors. I think that makes a difference. I really like them. I saved them. And I've used the leftovers on other things. And then I've shown before. Hi, Linda. Definitely use your adhesive to put this stuff down with, because my cottage core album, I went back a few days later, everything had come apart. Now I'll put the first set of ring binders on this page, but this is something that you can do. I won't do on the camera, but I will show for those of you that didn't do the rust and rev with me. So I just add some adhesive. And I kind of call this my late night quiet project. of putting those on. So you'll go ahead and put them on the front and the back. And they really do help. Okay, so that is going to be what we call page 1. So now I can bring my book back over. And we just want it to open to that side. And actually, let's go ahead and pull out the rest of our, let's get all our tabs on so we don't have to worry about that. So we want 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. No, just 4 altogether. We have 1. But we're going to go ahead and put our tabs on for placement. And then we have, oh, here they are. Then we have 2 pockets. And the same thing with your pockets. You want to go ahead and put your hole protectors on there. And the same with your little booklets. And you have 2 of those. Okay, so this way we can just get everything lined up. That will save us some time. Okay, because we want them placed correctly. So I'll move these 2. So just take one more, and this one I'm going to put at the bottom. Let me show you. So I'm going to put this at the bottom, and then we'll match up our centers. My glue is leaking again. I haven't put a new center in there. So this one we'll put right at the bottom. I'm going to let that dry before I attempt just to fold it over. You don't have to worry, it's not going to stick to anything. Let's fold that over. Now see, I can tell it's not scored right because it doesn't match the center, so you'll just have to kind of rebend it there. I don't know, you may not have to, yours may be okay. Ah, it's still off. Wow, my other ones were pretty good. Didn't have to do this. All right, we're going to make it go. There we go. Well, nope, it's off, so. That's just too much to be sticking out over the edge. Oh, they didn't. This is the first time I've had that. But that's a machine for you. So I'm going to do something here in a second. Oh, you know, I need to put it. I did. I put it on both sides. So they go on both sides. forgot to turn my notifications off so my phone wouldn't be going off. So we'll get that off right now. Okay, so that's going to be the bottom. Okay, we'll just pop one in there for a second, the middle one. Then I just spread them out so I can see where to place it. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead, see what's going on here. Yeah, that's way, way off. Let me see if these ones are off. Nope, that one looks better. Nope, see, they're a little bit off. So we're going to go ahead and they have to match or it just looks terrible. See how easy they come apart? So you want the next one right about there, and the third one might have to go down just a little. So see, I'm just using my finger. Okay, that looks pretty good. And I'm going to do it this way. So just in case, if it doesn't show, at least it's on the back. And it won't show a little bit off on the front. Okay. I hope. Move that out better. Much better. Okay. I want 2 white tabs. They do. They match now. And I just hate that when it won't match. Oops. Okay, and the back side. And I love these strips. I used these and just wrote down 49 and mark it, put it on one of the ends of my, you know, the black sorting tubs I showed you. So these have lots of uses. And these aren't going to be like right next to each other. So if they're a little bit off, don't worry, because they're quite a few pages in between. So this one, it's going to be on our 4th one. Just right here. So let's just put him on top. And it's going to go right in the center. Yeah, I don't like that. You know, and they're mass produced, so I understand there's not a lot, you know, 49 Market can do about it. And that's okay because we're crafters. We can fix anything most of the time. Nope. Oh, heavens. One more time. Sorry, guys. But I just can't do it. I can't put it on there unless it's ready. I mean, unless it's perfect. I just can't. Man. See, you can see how much it's off when it buckles there. Well, we'll put it at the back. Another alternative is if you have a tab punch, but okay, that will go more towards the back. Yeah, I know paper slips. It will do that when we're cutting kits. Even the chipboard will slip once in a while, and you get even just a, you know, 32nd of an inch, and most human eyes wouldn't notice it, but we're crafters. So we notice it, right? Okay. And then also, it's a little off, but it's not going to show because we do put pattern paper over that one edge. But at least it doesn't hitch in the eye on the front. Okay, and 2 of the ivory. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm careful when I cut, especially if I'm cutting more than one piece on my dolly, because it will slip. All right, so there's our 3 dividers we're going to use. We'll have 2 more, but so this will be, of course, page 1. Then you can go back and add your protectors. Okay, I'm going to set those there since they're all ready. Okay, our next page is going to be one of the pockets. So we're going to kind of go between all of these different pages. Now we want our plastic sleeve with the 4x4s. So you have the 4 3x4 squares. Again, this is preference. I just always put my company in the bottom where they all put their own imprint there. So I just pop those down. And then we want one of our plain dividers here. Our plain page. and then our half page. Then we need our second divider tab. Then we want the two 4x6. They're hard to see. There it is. So we have 4x6 top and bottom. Our next, I'll put them right here, right in front of me, is our no tab page. We will be building on that, of course. Then we want our 6x8 opening at the top. It'll always be at the top. And so if you have your imprint at the bottom, it will always be at the top. Okay, then we're going to add the second half page, but we're actually going to turn that into a cute pocket. Then we need another, our divider that is second or the next to last. Then we want a page and another page, but we actually will be scoring this when we get there and turning it into a half page. Because you know I can't leave things alone. We have to turn them into something, right? Then we have our two 3x4s and 4x6. Okay, this is our pocket page. And I have to look twice because when we create it, it doesn't look like a pocket page. And that was my goal. So I put a photo mat at the top. And I'm going to do something different. If you'll notice, these are pretty tight. So when I go to glue, I'll show you. I'm going to only glue it halfway and see if that won't give us a little bit more room. We might even put a little gusset on there. We'll see, because we want to get more in that pocket. Then we have the bottom tab. And that's that. And we're going to take what looks like nothing and we're going to turn it into something. Isn't that cool how these convert? So this is going to be on the back. We will create this pocket. And this is where I did pop in those months. So if you get a chance and you want to stick them in an order, you might want to go ahead and purchase those. And again, we're going to be using that scallop punch or your scallop die quite a few times throughout our little book. Okay, if you guys are ready, what we're going to do now is we're going to cut our white photo mats. All of these things. And I did post a list in the description of this video and also on Scrapbookers. And so I can put my glue away for right now. But let's go ahead and get our 65-pound matting cardstock. And then if you have paper clips are extremely helpful. And you have 10 sheets. Okay, we have 10 sheets. Now, you want to get your cutter, of course. And we got these in, you guys. It's exactly, this one is the Spellbinders. It's exactly Stampin' Up's. Excuse me, you're going to love it. And I have the blades, and the blades will fit your Stampin' Up if you have the Stampin' Up cutter. So the blades they will fit, and they are, let me show you, they're almost, well, they're identical except for the color. So the lighter gray ones are the Spellbinders. And thank you to the customer, Bobby, who told us that these are the, and they are. I did the research, so I was very happy. All right. So we're going to start, and I'll give you the sizes as we go. And like I said, it is in the description. And you can either cut these on your own or you can cut them with me tonight. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in the order I cut them. We'll turn it upside down so that, because I went page by page. And hopefully, whoops, and what I'm going to do, we have some others that are 5-inch. Excuse me. So I'm going to cut my 5-inch on this one first. Oh, thank you, Tanya. So we're going to cut 5 inches by 3. And I'm just going to set this at the top, knowing that is a 5-inch piece. But our first one is 3 by 5. And then we're going to use this for small pieces. So we have a 4. We need 2 4 by 6. No, we need 1 4 by 6. And I know such different size photo mats, but it's because I fit it around the graphics, and that is why. So there's a 4 by 6. And this one is going to be 3 3/4. That way we have very little waste by 4 3/4. You can throw that one away. Now from this little guy, you can keep this, and if you want to put a sticky note, because this measures 3 inches, and this is going to cut my 2.5-inch circles. I won't cut them right now, but we will want to cut our 2.5-inch circles. And so we just need a 6-inch piece, because cut 6, but we're going to do 2 and, okay, let me get my verbals here. 2.5 by 2.5 of our white. Where'd my little sticky notes go? Well, they're right here. And so just pop that on your, and then we'll have it. So they are 2.5 inch. You can actually cut them any size you like if you want them to be a little bit bigger in your book, but that's the size I'll be using. Okay, now let's go to our 3 by 4. We're going to cut 4 of them. This is already 3 inches. So I'll cut my first one at 4. We don't need that. So we need to cut a 3-inch. By 4, and that will give us our 3 by 4s. And this is where, excuse me, I get out the paper clips. And the sticky notes will help you. No, it'll help me when I'm in the tutorial, so I don't drive you guys nuts trying to figure out which one is what. Okay, we need a 4. So I'll just turn my paper this other way. 4 1/4. And then 6 1/4. Okay, we need 2 1/8 by 2 1/8. And they're going to go on a little frame. So we'll cut the first one and we'll wait and cut the second one from a little scrap because we don't want to cut a whole strip. And wait a minute, did that, guess what? That will make your 2 1/8 by 2 1/8. Perfect. I love when we don't have to cut into a big piece for those little ones. And this is why I don't do a diagram with you guys. I do so many different sizes, as you noticed. And we have frames. And there's just so many different pieces and parts to my kind of albums that I hate. I don't like to do a diagram because it's just too difficult. Now we have a next one. We need 1 2 5/8 by 3. So if you've written those down, just put a star next to that because we're going to come back once we get that scrap piece so we don't cut into anything else. So our next one is going to be, we're going to go ahead and cut 3 1/2 inches. Now I'm cutting backwards. Your cutting guide list will say 2 1/2 by 3 1/2 and 2 3/4 by 3 1/2. But I'm going to cut the 3 1/2 first. And then we're going to cut 2 2 1/2 inch pieces. These go inside of those plastic sleeves, and so I like them to be a different size. And we want 2 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. Oh no, these are actually for frames, and I did mark if we were doing a frame. So let's just mark those, and they'll be easy to find. And then our next one is going to be 2 3/4 by 3 1/2. So I'll just do that right this moment. And we've already cut our 3 1/2. Excuse me. So we want 3 of those. We won't get them out of this though. We'll get 1. And no worry, because we need some more 3 1/2s anyway. So we're going to cut 3 1/2 from this long strip. And we'll cut 2 more 2 3/4. We have 3 of those. This paper is so smooth, sometimes it's hard to get a hold of. Okay, we have 3 of those. Now, this was 3 1/2. Oh, we're just going to set this. Oh, we're going to set this aside. We'll use that in just a second when we get down to another one. I'm trying to still stay in order. Okay, so our next one is another 3 1/2. But we want 2 of these that are, excuse me, 5 1/2. 3 1/2 by 5 1/2. It's windy, so the allergies are up again. Okay, 3 1/2 by 5 1/2. 2 of those. You know, I think I'll write these all down next time and have them ready, and we'll just slap them on there. And we don't need that open anymore. Okay. So let's cut 4 1/4. We only need 1 by 5 1/4. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. Now, let's cut 4 3/4 by 4. Actually, this is going to be, no, it's not, garbage. Okay, back to this little guy that we set aside. We're going to cut this down to 3 3/8 by 2 5/8. This is also a frame. And instead of cutting them by hand, I did go through and make sure I measured them so that we would have them all ready to go. And you can either mark them as frame or not. We were supposed to have rain, Tian, and it never came. We were hoping it would come. Okay, our next one, we're going to cut 4. So we can cut them right from this guy. And we want 4 2.5 by 2 3/4. So I'm cutting the 2 3/4 first. And we want 4 2 1/2. This is for that little page that says family. It's for our family portraits. We don't need that because I can't use it for anything. So we have 4 2.5 by 2 3/4. It did cool off here though, so I was grateful for that. It's going to cool off a little bit more tomorrow, but it was super windy. We thought we were going to get a storm, but we didn't. Okay, our next one. Three and a quarter. We want 2 of these. So 3 1/4 by 5. Seriously, just throw those little pieces away now so that you don't have to deal with them. And if you love the matting cardstock, you can buy the full packs online. I love it now. I use it for everything. Okay, our next one, we need 2. And these are also for frames. So we want to cut it 3 3/8. Oh, that's a lot. That's awesome, Bobby. And we want it to be 4.5. 2 little boys. That's going to be fun. That's a good piece to keep. Anything at least 3 inches by 4, I keep because you can use it. Let me cross that one out. So 3 3/8 by 4.5. Again, this is for a frame. Oh, I cut mine at 3 5/8. Let me fix that. Okay, now I put this one up here. Do you guys see how bad I am? I already forgot. It's 5 inches. We were supposed to cut our 5 by 3 3. It wouldn't matter. We'd still have this left over. Okay. This is what, after you've thrown away all those little pieces that you don't need. Oh, you're great. Oh, congratulations. Yes. So we're going to just paper clip these together. Those are the ones I will grab. And then I just flip those over. Because I know this will go in my waterfall. And now this will be, because I start, this will be page 1. So most of them, just about all of them, are in order. So you can either flip them over or remember that you got to flip them over when we start. There's our 2 circles. And we got them all. Now, one thing you're going to notice, it's left you with quite a bit. And I do that for, you know, mistakes. We can be using the white and we get ink on it, but you do get a lot left over this time. And but that's okay. I want you to have what you need in your kits, because it's no fun to have a kit and then you run out. All right, we still have time because we're doing so good. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by laying down our matting. No, we're not. We're going to start here. So I'm going to just take him out. This is where you're going to want that textured cardstock, and I'm going to give you some hinders here. One thing I'm going to do is these little booklets. I'm going to do them with my 65 pound, and I'll tell you why. They're just too thick. That is such a nice cardstock. And yeah, I put my balloons upside down because we have to have the tie there. These are really cute, but to go in our top belly band, it was just too heavy, and it made it so it pushed down so hard I couldn't get anything back there. So I'm going to remake these, but using that 65 pound cardstock. As you guys know that have worked with it, 49 a market is heavy, so it made each one of these covers at least 200 pounds worth of paper that we just didn't need. And I wanted to be able to get a tab back here, and I couldn't because it was just too tight. So let's go ahead and grab a sheet of the 65 pound, and then that in your kit you'll have that really neat felt feeling. It has the texture to it. Move my screen. Okay, so we're going to use those. Oh, I just needed to measure our. So our first cut's going to be 4 by 7. We're not going to score it till we get to that page, because I will be wrapping it. And you know, this doesn't feel that heavy until you start putting it together, and on top of the 49 a market cardstock, it just becomes so thick. So 4 by 7. So I just take 5 inches off there. I got my 7. Now this little guy, this little added pocket, he's going to be 5 inches by 4. And that was perfect. So when you cut this off, see, we have the perfect, there it goes, 5 by 4. So it's going to sit right here in the center. We'll make that in just a second because we're going to put it on there. Now our little booklets. I just want to put that in. Okay. Our little booklets. Now, if you want to maybe just make one, but I want to. And they're going to be 8 inches by 8 inches by 3 5/8 to fit in our pocket. That's where I'm going to use my 65 pound. Yes, it is lighter, but it's just going to be so much better. I hope. Now, if you feel it's still too thick, then we can just put 1. So 8 inches, and then I'm going to cut 3 5/8, and we're going to cut 2 of those. Okay, we want to score these. You guys, I'm sad. My brothers, they were stinkers. I only had all brothers. And they didn't have children. So I don't get to be a great aunt or any of that. I get to be a grandma, but yeah, they... oh, well, one was married, and actually, his wife passed away, and so... and they didn't have children. There's something on there. So no great aunts for me, but that's okay. I get to be grandma. So we're going to score this with the 8 inch across the top at 4 inches. Okay. Now we want to take, we don't want to mix that up. We want to take this little guy. We want to put the 5 inches across the top because we want to gusset it. We're going to score it 1/2 and 4 1/2. Again, that's 1/2 and 4 1/2 with the 5 inch across the top. Oh, the belly band, I am going to just score one side at 1/2 inch because I'll show you. I'm going to wrap it on the paper. I like it better. So we're going to burnish up those score lines. You know, Tian, I love my kids. No, I love my granddaughters. I love all the but I'm really thinking I should have had beagles. No, I'm kidding. Okay, we're going to miter the corners. No. We were young and dumb, and I wanted all these kids, and it's like my husband came from 12, so I thought, oh, let's have a big family. But the grandkids are nice. No, I love my kids. They're great as they're getting older. Okay. This I'll wait and put on. Well, we can put it after we wrap it because we do want it to be, you know, kind of centered. So 3 will end up being our center, and we'll get our centers, and then we'll put it down. Let's go ahead and grab the album. Oh, here it is. Okay, this is going on the back of that first pocket page. So it's page number 2. Well, hello, Ray. So page number 2. We can go ahead and take that out. Put him close. Now we want to go ahead and take out our 6x8 pads. I'm going to tell you exactly which one you're going to take it from. Because it does not come from Little Dreamers. It comes from the Celebrations. And while we're working, if you could keep at least, you know, things in stacks, because I'll be pulling from Little Celebrations, Little Dreamers, and do keep this. It's going to help you do a quick reference. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I didn't. My brothers, you know, it was back in the 60s and 70s, and they were rock and roll and all that stuff. So what can we say? Hi, Carly. So we want to get out. Oh, this paper is so pretty. It's so soft and it's just pretty. for that one, we are going to take out probably the very last page. Am I correct? Yeah, I'm very correct. Okay, just take it from your very last page. And if you can, either keep a paper clip. If you have a ring, actually, let me just get a ring binder so you don't have to listen to that. I just found it's easier. You know what, Tian, my great aunt, oh my gosh, I loved her. They didn't have children, so my mother was an only child, so I'm not, but she was like my grandmother instead. I wear her wedding rings. They would have been married 80 some years this year, and I'll tell you, my great aunt was my grandma. So we're going to keep that together, and I do want to ink the edges before we put this down. And I'm going to use the cashmere. Nope, wrong color. Ooh, I used that thing up, let me tell you. And I love the cashmere. It went so well with this. Now, if you have maybe a little boy, I was thinking even that slate gray, a very light gray, would be really pretty. Okay, so let's take our paper, and it really doesn't have a direction to it. You can decide there. So I'm going to put my belly band on here in the center. Uh-oh, one of the dogs are getting in trouble. Okay, just pull it so it's tight. We're going to put it in the scoreboard best we can. Uh-oh, Wilburson. What have you got, boy? He stole his bowl. And then if you can, you'll just have to move your paper a little bit to get it on it. There you go. Get it on a section right next to the paper where you can score that. Because see, it's not quite half of an inch. And it's not going to go over to that edge. So, yeah, he brought his bowl down so we can start throwing it. My goal is to just score right next to the edge of the cardstock. I think we got it. Oh, you're the traveling companion. I love that. Oh, you know what? Beagles are super fun to watch. They do have personality. How cute. And you named your squirrels Thelma and Louise. That is too cute. All right, let's just wrap that around that edge. I'm just going to eyeball the center where I think it looks best. We want it straight, so let's use my markings. I just use my little grid here. And then let's flip it over and glue it, or however you like to attach your thingies. He was going to catch them. Beagles are pretty fast. I'm surprised he didn't. So you can see that's not quite a half inch on that one side. It just never, I've tried to do the half inch. It never works. So that's why I do it this way. And then, whoops, got some glue. it's enough give on each side that I can use it and be happy that it's straight. Now we want to find the center, if you want to find the center. So it's 3 inches. And then where's my 3? 1, 2, 3. I just kind of follow my line. So 3, this black line. And straight down. It's not a perfect measure, but it's okay. It will get covered with paper here in a second. And then this is 2 inches. Just like a sewing pattern. We can match that up. Okay, now let's go ahead and we're going to mat our belly band. And that one did come out of I just have to look at the back side because some of them, okay, what's not, it comes from Little Dreamers. Because Little Dreamers has more of this solid back. Do you know what? I never realized until we were in empty nesters how much joy the animals do bring us. All of a sudden, they were just so fun to be with. Okay, we're looking, here we go, that wood grain. I only want one, and I really do like to keep them in order. Oh, no, there's only one. That's how thick this is. Okay. Well, I don't have another one, so we'll just... So we have a 4x6. Actually, some of that will get hidden, so you can decide what you want to use. And it's going to be 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. And then we're going to cut the other piece at 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. So we'll just cut them both. And these we will save even the smallest. We do a lot of matting with those. Okay. Go ahead and ink the edges. And I'm telling you, I got to get the other ink pads. I don't like these old ones anymore. They don't last. I love the Nouveau ones. And I'm bleeding this thing dry, let me tell you. Time for a refill. See, okay. I'm going to put that at the bottom. See, that does cover it. That's why you don't see it. Oh, that's too cute. Well, Wilbur thought he was a cat when we got him because he was raised with our Siamese cat. And he wanted to drink out of the sink, sit on the counter, everything that cat did. So, yes, they had reverse roles. Goodness, they're much hard. Okay, so I still can see a little bit of my marking here or you can just put it, because 3 and 2 will match that up. Oh, I have more coming, Tian. They are on the order. They should be here. What is this, Monday? They should be here Thursday or Friday. They're really fast. Um, they're coming. I'm so sorry. Yeah, they're not here yet, but they are coming. And on this one, you you can decide which way you want your grain to go. I'm going to have it go that way more so than this way. So if you are needing to wait for your ink pad, another color I was going to use with this was the Mocha Latte, if you have that one. Let me show you. I've almost used, it is not as macchiato, or where'd my other one go? Okay, let me show you these two. And let me get from my last kit. Well, there goes my garbage can. Let me grab a scrap piece here from, that was left over from the first album, so I don't cut into any of my. Let's do this really quick. Oh, I haven't even opened that one. I had to get a new one because Charlotte got a hold of my last one. They are kind of hard to open. They're very hard to open, which is good for us because we know the inks are fresh. Okay. Okay. Let's so this one is going to be your over coffee, and it is darker. But what I would do first, and I always do anyway, I don't want to do it on there. We'll do it down here. Okay. If you get some of it off. These are they're just really nice ink pads, but even this color is nice with it. And I almost used it. It is just a little darker, of course. And then the macchiato. And it's not quite as dark. Let's go on this side. See, it's not quite as dark. So I thought these two were really nice with it because it almost has that kind of, I don't know what you'd call that one, like orangey kind of tint. So those two weren't bad at all with it. And then also, let me show you something I've been doing. It works better with the Nouveau pads, but I know I've been cheating. And I just take my re-inker like so. And I did almost the whole album before. It just soaks in there and stays with my re-inker. So reinkers aren't just for reinkers. Now I can use that probably half of this album. Okay, backside of our pocket. Now, one thing, you want to put it over to the left-hand side because remember, we got to put our rings on there. Try and pop that out. Seeing it will barely fit. So let me just pop those down really quick on this one. But I will have these on for our tomorrow morning tutorial. But I put them on after too. You just want to be mindful when you're putting down your cardstock not to cover. Don't get too close. Okay, let's put this one down. Those corners. And now with those down, I can move my, there we go, my whole thing over a little bit. These we're not going to mat. I use my scraps for this. But let's go ahead and burnish them in half. Oh, let me. Sorry. We'll go in this. This is a much better fit using your 65-pound. But like I said, if you think it's too tight, then you could always pop one back here after we do the matting on it. Plus, it'll go in a lot easier. And it'll go this way. Then we'll put some of that cute 1/8 of an inch ribbon, and it will tie this down. And that one, let's go ahead and we can pop this back into our album. Because we still have time. And I'm going to put these back here. Yeah, don't look at my upside down balloons. It was a boo-boo. Yeah, you know, that is so tight. I'm going to stick it right inside of there. Still pretty tight. But that's okay. That's why I make it first. Oh my gosh, these dogs. That's why I make it first, to show you what we shouldn't do. But that works too. All right, now we're going to go to page see that middle tab? You have your 2 4x6s. Then we want that next. So that was my second tab, 4 by 6. And now we want this divider. And then you're going to want that piece that we just cut the belly bands from. And I did use a corner rounder. Oh my goodness, Charlotte is just being so crazy. Did you guys hear her? Okay, I'm just making sure if I cut that at 6, or I sure did. So 6 is going to be our first cut from this one by 9.5. You know, let's go with 9.5 because that will give us just that piece in case we need it for something. That one I'll keep. And then 6 inches. Okay. And then our second one is going to be, it's 8 1/4 by 6. So let's go ahead and cut from a second piece. Move this over. And we're going to cut it at 6 by 8 1/4. Hold on. How did, oh, because it comes out to be, all right. Yeah, 8 1/4. Because we have to make sure, you know, our 6 by 8 paper pad will fit. So our first one, 6 by 8 1/4 that we just now cut, I want you to score it 1/2 inch. I didn't use a magnet. This is heavy enough, it just held it down. And then our 9.5, we're going to score it 1/2. And 7 1/2. Again, that's 1/2 inch with the 9.5 across the top. 1/2, 7 1/2. And let's go ahead and I have the texture on the outside. You're not going to see it, but because when we fold up this little pocket, there is a smooth side to this. Okay, so first we're going to fold backwards our hinge so we can attach that to the page. And then the pocket, just a little tuck pocket for some tags we make that are super cute to pop in there. And of course we need to mat it before we glue that shut. Go ahead and miter our corners, and we're going to mat this before we put it on. Just makes it so much easier. And if you are using a corner rounder, did I put it back? Put it back. Let's go ahead and round our corners. Rounding the corners just saves it from getting bent up. So I've just been rounding everything. So this is going to be on the inside underneath there, just like so. This one seems long. You know, this one is longer. Maybe I don't know how to add when I measured again. Well, the bottom is correct, so we're going to take a little bit off the top is all. and rescore it. So let me check something here. Okay, so let's rescore it, and let's go ahead and take an inch off. I don't know how I managed to come up with that measurement, but we'll just fix that real quick. Oh, as a matter of fact, I know you guys probably think I'm crazy, but keep this. This just might be that hinge piece that I'm going to use, because we took an inch off and it was scored at half. So we'll probably use that on that one pocket I was talking about where we need it to be not so tight. We'll see. So take that right back out of the garbage. You just never know what you're going to create when you go to throw something away. There we go. Okay, let me give you the correct measurement then. So we have 8.5 by 6 by 8.5. And you're going to score it 1/2 inch and 6/2. So if you didn't already do that, again, 6 by 8.5, score it 1/2 inch, 6 1/2 inch. And we're going to miter the corners. And now we're going to mat. So we want to take from, this is what I thought was really weird. Oh no, this is the correct one. Never mind. We're going to take the very last page. Isn't that so cute? Then we want the one here right after the wood grain that we use that has baby on it. And I'll tell you, I loved the front. I love the color of the back. I just thought it was so gorgeous. So we want those two. And then we are going to use the next one that's going to go on the inside. It's going to come from Little Celebrations. So that came from Little Dreamers. And our little celebrations. That's not the one. And I tried to mark them, and it became kind of difficult because these are so much alike. There it is. It's going to be our second one in. There we go. No, it's not. Oh, it's this one. No? Oh, you guys, this is crazy. Because it has that. Hold on. That's what I did. It is this one. Okay. At 49 and Market, you got to watch. It has this really pretty canvasy back and then the polka dots. But we're going to turn it. We can't turn it. Oh my heavens. Okay, let me look one last time. We may come back to this one, which is just fine. Okay, it is Little Celebrations. It's Little Celebrations, and it's our second one in. and you have 3 sheets of each. There it is. Sorry about that. There it is with our little balloons here. So we're going to cut this one. Okay, we're going to start here. And how this is going to go. See the gorgeous flowers. We'll have the balloons, and then this is going to be our little pocket down at the bottom. So I'm going to cut this one first from the bottom, because we measured our, we scored our pocket at 2 inches. So this is going to be 1 7/8, because we wanted to make sure we get baby. And then I turned it, because I just want to take 1/8 of an inch off it. So we want 5 7/8. So down here by baby is where I took my 1/8 of an inch. So we'll round to that. Now for this piece, because I did go all the way in, this is going to be 6 by 6. You just have to take that little tiny bit out. I'm sorry, 6 by 5 7/8. Actually, I'm going to go 5 7/8 so we don't run into a thickness problem. By 5 7/8. And then we'll fold that up, and that's going to be the bottom. So when you flip this up, you want to make sure the balloons are at the bottom. So we want another 5 7/8. So I'm going to take it from this side with the chevron or zigzag at 5 7/8. So that will mat in just a moment. So this little guy is going to be 5 7/8 by 7 5/8. So 5 7/8. And 7 5/8. Okay, now the inside is going to be this blue on little celebrations. Oh, actually, it's the back of that one. Oh no, it's not. It's the third one. Nope, it's from our 12 by 12 paper bag. Because we don't want to cut into anything that is going to be what we need. Love these colors. Keep the cover, because I love it. You can use that. So we want this one. This one is called paper number 2, and that's the one we use. And the nice thing, it's not directional. So we can cut our 5 7/8. Just pop that back in the bag. And 7 5/8. Great 4 by 6 piece to go in our book. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to round our corners, and then We'll add everything to our book, and then we just have one more set of things to build. So I'll start here with the bottom. Again, make sure you're rounding the corners in the correct orientation of your paper. I've done that more than once, and it's been wrong. See, look how well that works. Just re-ink your sponge. I got tired of the ink pad having to be re-inked because I use this color so much. I'm like, what would happen if I just put it on my sponge? And it was great. And there's my third one. Oh, I know, Tian. They're so they're like gentle, so they're really easy on the eyes. Perfect for the baby. You know, this would be a cute pregnancy journal too. All right. Just close up my book. We'll start with this inside piece. Is anybody cutting into their kit with me? Or do you watch and then go back? Because, guys, I've gotten better about no mistake. Yeah, soothing. In fact, I want my laundry room, one of these blues. My husband will be doing that here soon because it's getting too hot now to be out in his garden. And I said, well, perfect time to start the laundry room. And I want to paint it in these colors. All right, now we're just going to go up the edges. Just a little tuck pocket, but you'll be amazed at how much it will hold. And then reburnish that bottom. And then baby. Isn't that cute? Yes, the pause button is nice. I agree. Okay, as we're working now, flip it up as if it's in your book because you want to make sure you have the correct direction of your paper. Okay. You have to reburnish everything and really push. The paper's just so nice and heavy. Okay, now the flap. This is just adorable. Every page I did was, oh, this is just adorable. It was like I just loved even though some of them are plain, but when you add the baby animals, this whole book just came to life. Okay. Now that's not directional, so I'm not worried. Just make sure I cut it correctly. And then for those of you that are fast crafters, you can always hit the speed up button in the cogwheel under my video. There's a cogwheel you can click on and you can speed it up 2 times the speed. So if you're a fast crafter and you're like, let's just get on with it, then you can push that and fast forward. Okay. Well, everything is down. Let's just reburnish that. And on our page, oh, whoops, should have moved those. So we have the holes to the left. And what I did here is I left about an eighth of an inch on the side, the right hand side, away from the holes. So we'll put the first flap at the bottom. Let's make sure that's even. I'm going to turn it upside down so I can see the top. And I think we want to make sure, you know, they're even on the sides. Making sure they're even. Now, since we're already on this page, let's go ahead and mat the inside of it. And we're going to take it from the little celebrations, and it's back in the back where there's those really super cute balloons. And it's actually one of the balloon pages. And I did turn it upside down. No really reason why. It just must have looked better to me that day. So it will be on. I do have it upside down, yes. The writing's at the right-hand corner. But, I mean, it's plain enough, so it's up to you. And again, we want to just, let me turn this sideways. So we want to cover those tabs. This is going to naturally be wider because we cut wider than this matting. So don't try and match it to that because we did cut it at 5 7/8. Nope, that's crooked. I can see it. It was 5 7/8, and we're not cutting this down. Much better. But I got on the hinge there. Loose that up. And see, it's pretty heavy. So it's going to stay down. Okay, this one we're going to go ahead and put away. And we have another one to build. We have 2 more. So we're going to go to our first 6 by 8 pocket. Oh, let me grab the whole thing. And I wanted it to be a pocket, not just a 6 by 8. Let me get this in here. So I did use a magnet. I'll show you. But again, you don't have to. See, everything gets stuck on the other side. So once these are in, they're in. So it comes up a little bit there. I did use a magnet. It's back there because I wanted it to stay down because I wanted Mom to be able to put cards in there or whatever she likes, and then she can just pull it up a little bit and take out all these tags that we make, and then somewhere in our ephemera. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a 12 by 6. Now it didn't go quite to the bottom, so I'm going to adjust it just a little bit. If you notice, I noticed when I did this, so I'm just going to adjust our flap. Okay, let's get back in there. Oh, that has to be up. And again, you could see if you don't use a magnet, you could get by without using one, but it didn't quite go to the bottom, I noticed. So we just won't score this quite as much. And we're going to start with that 6 by 12 that we have left to fit into here. And then we want to get a score line because I want to, like I said, adjust this just a little bit. So we're going to score it at 2 1/4. It's going to be our first score line. So with the 12-inch across the top, we're going to just change that to 2 1/4. That's going to be our flap. And that way it will fit better at the bottom. And then I did a 1 1/2 inch pocket, so we want to score it 10 1/2. Okay, so 2 1/4 and 10 1/2. And I do want to, I'm just going to double check this because I want this to be a full 8 inches. Oh, well, I wonder why that one didn't fit too well. Okay, let's go ahead, then we can make the pocket just a little bit bigger, and let's go ahead and score it at 10 1/4. And if you're scoring with me, don't worry, we're covering that with heavy cardstock, so that little score line is not going to matter. Perfect. So let me put that back. And it's your 6 by 8 that is after, so we just did where we just did this page that we just now created. When you, it's just the page after that one. Now, before I commit to this, I want to put it in my, no, this is the, oh goodness, this is the 80-pound felt. There we go. So that is your 80-pound felt. And it still doesn't go all the way to the bottom. This has got to be longer than 8 inches. It is. It's 8 1/4. Okay, guys. Well, let's just put it back on the original score line of that very first one. I will give it to you again. Yeah, this one you want the heavier. That's going to be a tuck pocket on the bottom. Okay, you know what? That was right. I don't know what I did on this one, but whatever it is, it kind of didn't fit all the way to the bottom. But then again, this is 8 1/4, the matting 6 by 8. So let me give you those good measurements again. So it was the original ones. You're going to score it 2 1/4 and 10 1/2. So 2 1/4 and 10 1/2. Let me go ahead and we just have one more to build after this one. And this one we're not even going to mat yet because we're just going to pop it back in. But I do round the corners. We'll pop it back in and then we will start the matting tomorrow. And that'll be just our little tuck pocket in the bottom so that she can just pull it up. And, you know, put cards, or if you're giving it as a gift, you could put gift cards or anything you want in there. So if you do want a magnet, it's going to go on this flap and then on the actual page itself. And I will have a magnet. I have to get some more from the warehouse. I used it all on the Doodle Bug Be Happy. So we're going to just pop this into our 6 by 8. And that can go back in our book. This will stay though. So it's totally up to you, but that's a better fit and it goes all the way to the bottom. So the back, yeah. So let's go ahead and put that one in the book. And then we want to go clear back to, we'll do that divider as we're working. We're going to go back to, it's the third tab, and it's the pocket page. And this is the one we may put a little bit of that gusset. So we'll do a flap that opens this way and one that opens that way. So my third tab And I'll grab the pocket page. And then you'll need another sheet of your heavier cardstock, the fells. Okay, so we're going to build this on the back side. And we want two pieces that we're just going to cut our 6-inch piece. We want two 6 by 4.5. So I'm going to cut a 4.5. And just cut it off at 6. Okay, 2 4.5 by 6. Okay, 4.5 inch at the top of your scoreboard. We're going to score at 4. Okay, before I didn't round these corners, but what I did, so your hinge is going to go, they butt up to each other. Let's go ahead and fight with these again. So let me get my second page. We need 2 of them. So one will go, I put it the top to the right, and the bottom will be at the left. I was going to say this looked like a normal one, but I was wrong. But we're almost done fighting with them. And actually, we could use, you know what we could do? Let me show you. If you don't want to use these were the ones left over from my other album. So I know we didn't use these 2. And that might even look cuter. You have this one. I was going to use them this time on, oh, and then, no. Oh, we didn't use this one, but I did not have a second one. And that's why I kept all this together this time, because I was like, okay, I can show them what we can use instead of, and then if they like that better. That's not the time. Okay, let me show you. So this one, we do not have another one to match because I did use it in the book, but we'll probably are going to use it. So if you want to use these, you do just have 2 different colors. But I think that's okay. If you'd rather use these, they will stick out of your book. So that's the only thing to consider. This is going to stick measurably down on the bottom of your book. Top, I don't mind. So if you want to use those, you can use these 2. But they are bigger. So I think we'll use them for, I'm going to use them for a tag, and then I was hoping they'd be shorter. It's just the bottom one I'm worried about because it does stick outside of our book. So I'll just fight with this for a minute. Sorry, this is our last one to build tonight, guys. But they have to be straight. And it is better to put them on now. Okay. So your top one, you'll have the hinge at the bottom. Turn it over. finish my top one, and then again hinge at the top, so it'll come down here on the left hand side. Wow, these are way off. Sorry, if I knew these were going to be like this, I would have tried to straighten them all out before we went live. Okay. But that's the first time. Okay, this one will go over on the left-hand side. Oh, we'll put the white on. We can do that later. Pocket on the back. Yeah, put your holes to your right hand side. So what I did is I just put that to the top. And then we kind of adjusted from there, just so I had an even spacing. Well, first of all, make sure we're not covering those holes. Most important. Then I just did it so there's about 1/8 of an inch at the top and bottom, because we want to butt those guys up. So once you figure out, you know, where you want them to be, even distance from top and bottom, then I just took off my bottom one and made a little mark. So that's where I knew it needed to go. And we're going to go ahead and miter those corners on both of those. And remember, you got to keep away from the holes. So I'm about 1/4 of an inch, I mean 1/8 of an inch from the top and 1/8 of an inch from the side. Now, I used magnets, but let me tell you, this is pretty heavy. And so I don't think I'm going to use them this time. Hi, Sheila. It just wasn't, it's just heavy. I really don't think it has to have the magnet. I don't think it's going to fall. What I'm going to do when we mat them, I'm going to mat the outsides first. And if it's heavy enough, otherwise I'll put a magnet maybe at the top one. Okay, just butt those right next to each other so they touch. Okay, now let's add the white journal spots. So you'll need 4 of those. And it just gives it a finished look too. And then we're done for the evening. So tomorrow at 11 a.m. 10 a.m. Mountain Time, I will be live, and what we're going to do is we're going to mat all of our pages. So we'll mat the pages, and then Thursday we'll do our waterfall, and we'll get started with decorating. So we'll do 2 shows on Thursday, morning and evening, and 1 show Friday, and then we'll probably be done on Monday. And I know a lot of you like to watch the recording anyway. You don't work right with me. So who knows? I could pop on Saturday. I did that one time with that one book, and I just kept going because it was so fun to make. So right after this live, I am going to go live again to show the Doodlebug Be Happy. And I was amazed with that collection. It's a half of a collection, but I still did it. And we used almost everything. I was so excited. Okay, that one can go in our book. And it goes right next to this last tab. Nikki, I was just thinking about you. You were reading my mind. That is so funny. Okay, and then our last tab will be that last tab. So that is where, oh, Nikki, but Nikki, I'm going to do a live on the Be Happy. I'm going to go live again. Okay, so we have our pages all in order. Oh, there is one thing I wanted to do to that pocket, if you remember. While I have it, let me take this out. Let's see if this is even going to work. Oh, you just woke up. Oh, that's right. You're going to work. You know, the pocket gets pretty tight, and we've been gluing it down. And I was thinking, though, of course, we got to come inside of the holes. So we do lose a little space, but I don't think it's not going to matter if we glue that down unless we poke a hole in it. Hold on here. Hold on. Let's do some testing. Well, there's nothing like testing it out, is there? So what I'm going to do here is cut it from this angle. And re-poke the hole through the hinge. Oh, I wasn't live last week at all. Okay, so you know what? I'm going to try this because if it works, it'll make our pockets a little more flexible here. And then when it's dry, I will poke a hole right in there. And hey, if it doesn't work, it's okay too. But if it works, it'll make those pockets more usable. That glue off. Okay. It's going to work. Oh, Nikki, I owe you a couple more things. You get a lot of playtime. I owe you your Friends Raggedy Ann book, and I couldn't remember if you wanted. Hi, Adriana. If you wanted me to hold your cutter till the retreat in September, so it will make it a little more flexible. Actually, yeah, I like it because see, this side has kind of that gusset, and this side didn't. So if you want to do that, I'm going to do it to all my pockets. It's 1 inch. You're going to cut a 1 inch piece, score it at 1/2 inch. Just make it 12 by 12 because each pocket you'll need a 4 inch gusset with it. So I want to just go ahead and poke. Now my hole punch isn't quite big enough, but I do have another one too. So let's just kind of test this. I like it, guys. I like it. And it makes it, oh yeah, it's not sucking it down. Okay, so I'm going to do that to this other one on here. And so tomorrow, yeah, oh, guess what? We do need a magnet. I think, yeah, and then the paper's going to be heavy. So I am going to put a magnet on the top one. Needs to be a large through all that thickness. Okay, so tomorrow morning, then we will get in here and start. We'll just do all this matting, and we're moving right along. So does anyone have any questions on how we did anything, or is everybody okay on this? And then, like I said, when we go in and do, I'm going to hate it, but I'm not going to pop these things up as high. So I use the really big, and same here, so that we can get, same here. I just loved it. So we can get some of this thickness under control. Thick is nice. Chunky, I like. But it really poofs things up higher than I have to bring myself down, right? But I like chunky. Okay, that's where I'll end. In just a second, I'll try, but I am going to go live again. So if you want to watch some of the Be Happy, okay, then I won't send it. Yeah, she told me she had it. Okay, if you want to see the Be Happy project that's coming up for July 7th, I have one of them completely done. The other one is started, but I just wanted to get on and be able to show you guys because I know some of you are asking about it for the kit. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And now you guys can go work on your album. Bye-bye. Okay. I'm trying to end it. There we go.